Hello, I'm not moving. I'm not moving. I need to get my oh my god, thank you for subscribing, Dino. Hello. Hi. I need to get my stand. Oops, I'm not moving. 1 second. Ow. Ow. Ooh, ouch, my bones. What's up, guys? What's up? It's me, hit VTuber, Branatalka. Stand. Open phone. Do not disturb mode. 'Cause that's important. VTube Studio. Okay. Okay. Hello. We are so back. Oh, I want to throw up. Okay, we're not back. I nearly threw up and I'm bloating really bad right now. I don't know why. I just am. I'm having a terrible time. Hi, Key. That's okay. Here we are today to read Rana Tarker bloat maxing. Yes. I'm in Kanto 5 dungeon. Got any tips for Ahab? Kill her. Drive a harpoon into her heart. I don't know. I don't really remember what happens. I got back to the entire time, so I don't remember. Just clash and win. Clash and win, buddy. Clash and win. I think, if I remember right, the tips are to kill her lackeys first. Because she's like the weakest amongst them. I think that might be like the preliminary fight though, not the actual Ahab fight. Shrug, yeah, kill the hag. Oh my god, my stomach hurts. It's okay. This is a sit-down activity, so unless someone redeems exercise, in which case, why would you do that to me? It's okay, nobody would do that to me. I'm jinxing myself by saying that. We should do Olympus music. Oh, you'll want to kill her crew. Yes. That's what I remember. Anyways, now we're doing Olympus music. We're doing the Smoke War theme. Ho ho ho. Hi, I just got treatment for my crippling fear of 20th century German books. Anyways, what are we doing today? Oh my gosh, I'm so proud of you. Good job. Also, I didn't say my hellos to everybody. Oh my god. Hello, Apollo. Hello, the Red Period. Hello, Mommy. Hello, Buka. Am I missing anyone? Hello, Dino. Hello. Okay, hello everyone else who's like lurking and stuff. Whoever clashes her prey mark infliction gets the prey mark. Yeah. Okay, let me just have. Ouch. Maybe I should have saved this stream for tomorrow, but high key, I realized I could stream tomorrow, and I want to stream Zenless Zone Zero because I downloaded the game on a whim. I say it took 6 hours to download. What are we doing today? We are reading part 3 of the Metamorphosis. Hello, everyone. Hello. Yeah, we're reading part 3 of the Metamorphosis. Haven't touched DCZ myself in a bit. Yeah, I've heard it's good. I saw the new character and I like how she runs. I remember that game it had a shark girl. It did. I also like, her name's like Nicole, I think, or Noelle. I think it's Nicole. I like how she looks. Oh, I used to love that game. Ooh, fun. I don't know what it's like. Nobody talks about the gameplay ever. Everyone just talks about the physics, but I like the physics. I like how animated they are. I like how animated everyone like is. So I want to try it. It was fun. I've heard it was fun. Actually no, I haven't. I don't know much about it. Okay. Anyways, part 3. I don't want to read it right now. I want to keep yapping. I know what you are. I know. Last time I was doing a fishing event. There's a fishing event that I missed. Aw, damn. Fishing is the best part of video games. Everyone knows that. Yo, hello, Funny and Liz. What's up? We are reading part 3 of the Metamorphosis. And Liz is here. You sure are. Ow, my stomach. It hurts. It's okay. We get through the tummy aches. Maybe I should take like a Tylenol or something. Wait, no, we don't have Tylenol. Screw my stupid Baka life, bro. Anyways, it's fine. I'll live. No, I won't. Playing Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. I need to grind Korok seeds. No, I'm playing Pokemon Legends EA, and I need to grind all my wild zones. Take Tylenol. We don't have Tylenol. I just remembered. So I need to go out and buy some. But I'll do that after stream, because if I wanted to buy some, I had all the time before stream. Autism maxing. You're so right. I'm gonna autism max and buy Tylenol. Yes. I'm gonna change profile picture again. Have fun. Just kidding. I can't autism max because I'm not pregnant. Nobody changed that. I'll kill you. Ow. It's okay. My stomach already hurts enough. I'm basically pregnant. Ow. Owie. It's okay. Anyways, shall we move on to the book? Looking through the paragraphs. This seems to be about the same length as, maybe a little longer. Maybe a little bit longer. Hold on. Let's go back to the top. Okay. Hem. I should have gotten water, but that's okay. I'm basically pregnant. Absolute cinema. Thank you. I'm so cool. Okay. No one dared to remove the apple lodged in Gregor's flesh. Boo. Oh my gosh. Change profile picture. Whoa. So it remained there as a visible reminder of his injury. He had suffered it there for more than a month, and his condition seemed serious enough to remind even his father that Gregor, despite his current sad and revolting form, was a family member who could not be treated as an enemy. On the contrary, as a family, there was a duty to swallow any revulsion for him and to be patient, just to be patient. So if I could become Gregor as my book character. Ooh, fun. Because of his injuries, Gregor had lost much of his mobility, probably permanently. He had been reduced to the condition of an ancient invalid, and it took him long minutes to crawl across the room. Crawling over the ceiling was out of the question, but this deterioration in his condition was fully, in his opinion, made up for by the door to the living room being left open every evening. He got into the habit of closely watching it for 1 or 2 hours before it was opened, and then, lying in the darkness of his room where he could not be seen from the living room, gotta breathe, ow. Not pregnant. He could watch the family in the light of the dinner table and listen to the conversation, with everyone's permission in a way and thus quite differently from before. They no longer held the lively conversations of earlier times, of course, the ones that Gregor always thought about with longing when he was tired and getting into the damp bed in some small hotel room. All of them were usually very quiet nowadays. Soon after dinner, his father would go to sleep in his chair. His mother and sister would urge each other to be quiet. His mother, bent deeply under the lamp, would sew fancy underwear for a fashion shop. His sister, who had taken a sales job, learned shorthand in French in the evening so that she might be able to get a better position later on. Sometimes his father would wake up and say to Gregor's mother, "You're doing so much sewing again today," as if he did not know that he had been dozing, and then he would go back to sleep again while mother and sister would exchange a tired grin. Pregnant. I have waffles and ice cream. Yay! I love waffles and ice cream. I haven't tried them together, but they sound good. W chat. With a kind of stubbornness, Gregor's father refused to take his uniform off even at home. While his nightgown hung unused on its peg, Gregor's father would slumber where he was, fully dressed, as if always ready to serve and expecting to hear the voice of his superior even here. The uniform had not been new to start with, but as a result of this, it slowly became even shabbier despite the efforts of Gregor's mother and sister to look after it. Gregor would often spend the whole evening looking at all the stains on his coat. Hold on. Okay, we're good. We're so back. With its gold buttons always kept polished and shiny. or the whole man in it would sleep highly uncomfortable but peaceful. Maybe I shouldn't have streamed today. Oh god. Hold on, give me a moment. Physically, I'm doing terrible. Oh god. Okay. Get the tears out of my eyes. Flick. Flick. Okay, also maple syrup and whipped cream. Nice. I'm starving again. Get something to eat. Get something to eat while you watch this stream. Drink Wawa. Maybe I should, but I don't have any on hand. As soon as it struck 10, Gregor's mother would speak gently to his father to wake him and try to persuade him to go to bed. You gonna share? Yeah, you gonna share? You alright? That's debatable. That's debatable. Sorry for sniffling. My sniffles are gross. Ooh. 500 hydrate redeems. No! Don't actually do 500 hydrate redeems. Spamming is bad, guys. Spamming is bad. Especially now that I actually have redeems showing up on screen. Try to persuade him to go to bed, as he couldn't sleep properly where he was, and he really had to get his sleep if he was to be up at 6 to get to work. But since he had been in work, he had become more obstinate, and would always insist on staying longer at the table, even though he regularly fell asleep, and it was then harder than ever to persuade him to exchange the chair for his bed. Then, however much mother and sister would importune him with little reproaches and warnings, he would keep slowly shaking his head for a quarter of an hour with his eyes closed, refusing to get up. Who even has that many points? Menu person. I mean, it's only, what, 50,000 points? Like, that's, if you grind enough, you could. Oh man, I really wanted a baby. No. Maybe I'm going through morning sickness, guys. Oh my god. But who's the father? I can't say. No. I can't say. Anyways. That was, sorry. Terrible humor on my end. The father is Hawks MHA. Try Gemini, Google Chrome, go away! Go away! We hate you! I hate Gemini by Google Chrome. It's terrible! It sucks! Boo! Boo! My day is ruined! Okay. Anyways. Gregor's mother would tug at his sleeve, whisper endearments into his ear. Gregor's sister would leave her work to help her mother, but nothing would have any effect on him. He would just sink deeper into his chair. Only when the two women took him under the arms, he would abruptly open his eyes, look at them one after the other, and say, "What a life! This is what peace I get in my old age." And supported by the two women, he would lift himself up carefully as if he were carrying the greatest load himself, let the women take him to the door, send them off and carry on by himself, while Gregor's mother would throw down her needle and his sister her pen, so that they could run after his father and continue being of help to him. Kill the AI! Nothing happened. What just happened? Oh! Creator period horizontal. What happened was that, I got, like, a notification that was like, try out Gemini by Google, and I was like, I guess it didn't show because, like, I have it cropped, but, yeah. It sucked, and I hated it. It sucked! Anyways. Who in this tired and overworked family would have had time to give more attention to Gregor than was absolutely necessary? The household budget became even smaller, so now the maid was dismissed. An enormous thick-boned charwoman with white hair that flapped around her head came every morning and evening to do the heaviest work. Everything else was looked after by Gregor's mother on top of the large amount of sewing work she did. Give me a second, I need to keep my streak up. That's real. That's so real. Gregor even learned— oh my god, there's something in my eye now. I'm going through with the stream. Listening to this evening conversation about what price they had hoped for, that several items of jewelry belonging to the family had been sold, even though both mother and sister had been very fond of wearing them at functions and celebrations. But the loudest complaint was that although the flat was much too big for their present circumstances, they could not move out of it. There was no imaginable way of transferring Gregor to the new address. He could see quite well, though, that there were more reasons and consideration for him that made it difficult then for them to move. It would have been quite easy to transfer him in any suitable crate with a few air holes in it. The main thing holding the family back from their decision to move was much more to do with their total despair, and the thought that they had been struck with a misfortune unlike anything experienced by anyone else they knew or related to. They carried out absolutely everything that the world expects from poor people. Gregor's father brought bank employees their breakfast. His mother sacrificed herself by washing clothes for strangers. His sister ran back and forth behind her desk at the behest of the customers, but they just did not have the strength to do any more. And the injury in Gregor's back began to hurt as much as when it was new. After they had come back from taking his father to bed, Gregor's mother and sister would now leave their work where it was and sit close together, cheek to cheek. His mother would point to Gregor's room and say, "Close that door, Greta." And then, when he was in the dark again, they would sit in the next room and their tears would mingle, or they would simply sit there staring dry-eyed at the table. Waffles done. Yay! Yay! Yum. And yum indeed. Ow. I'm in pain, guys. I'm in pain. Rub my belly. Wash my belly. Sorry, I'm like hitting my stomach right now, and that's the only thing I can think of. Gregor hardly slept at all, either night or day. Sometimes he would think of taking over the family's affairs, just like before, the next time the door was opened. He had long forgotten about his boss and the chief clerk, but they would appear again in his thoughts. The salesman and the apprentices, that stupid tea-boy, 2 or 3 friends from other businesses, one of the chambermaids from a provincial hotel, a tender memory that appeared again and disappeared again, a cashier from a hat shop for whom his attention had been serious but too slow. All of them appeared to him, mixed together with strangers and others he had forgotten. But instead of helping him and his family, they were all of them inaccessible, and he was glad when they had disappeared. Other times, he was not at all in the mood to look after his family. He was filled with simple rage about the lack of attention he was shown, and although he could think of nothing he could have wanted, he made plans of how he could get into the pantry where he could take all the things he was entitled to, even if he was not hungry. Gregor's sister no longer thought about how she could please him, but would hurriedly push some food or other into his room with her foot before she rushed out to work in the morning and at midday. And in the evening, she would sweep it away again with a broom, indifferent as to whether it had been eaten or not. More often than not, had been left totally untouched. Or more often than not, had been totally untouched. There we go. There we go. There we go. She still cleared up the room in the evening, but now she could not have been any quicker about it. Smears of dirt were left on the walls, here and there. Here and there were little balls of dust and filth. At first, Gregor went into one of the worst of these places when his sister arrived as a reproach to her, but he could have stayed there for weeks without his sister doing anything about it. She could see the dirt as well as he could, but she had simply decided to leave him to it. I'm stuttering over my words so much today, oh my gosh. Waffles with maple syrup, ice cream, and whipped cream is good. Ooh, that sounds good. I should try that one day. At the same time, she became touchy in a way that was quite new for her, and which everyone in the family understood. Cleaning up Gregor's room was for her and her alone. Gregor's mother did once thoroughly clean his room, and needed to use several bucketfuls of water to do it, although that much dampness also made Gregor ill, and he lay flat on the couch, bitter and immobile. But his mother was to be punished still more for what she had done. As hardly had his sister arrived home in the evening than she noticed the change in Gregor's room and, highly aggrieved, ran back into the living room where, despite her mother's raised and imploring hands, she broke into convulsive tears. Her father, of course, was startled out of his chair, and the 2 parents looked on astonished and helpless. Then they, too, became agitated. Gregor's father, standing to the right of his mother, accused her of not leaving the cleaning of Gregor's room to his sister. From her left, Gregor's sister screamed at her that she was never to clean Gregor's room again, while his mother tried to draw his father, who was beside himself with anger, into the bedroom. His sister, quaking with tears, thumped on the table with her small fists, and Gregor hissed in anger that no one had even thought of closing the door to save him the sight of this and all its noise. Renestetta. True. That's me. That's me. Renestetta. Ah, because I'm stuttering. Yay. Ahem. Gregor's sister was exhausted from going out to work, and looking after Gregor as she had done before was even more work for her, but even so, his mother ought certainly not to have taken her place. Gregor, on the other hand, ought not to be neglected. Now, though, the charwoman was here. This elderly widow, with a robust bone structure that made her able to withstand the hardest of things in her long life, wasn't really repelled by Gregor. Just by chance one day, rather than any real curiosity, she opened the door to Gregor's room and found herself face to face with him. He was taken totally by surprise. No one was chasing him, but he began to rush to and fro while she just stood there in amazement with her hands crossed in front of her. From then on, she never failed to open the door slightly every evening and morning to look briefly in on him. At first she would call him as she did so with words that she probably considered friendly, such as, "Come on then, you old dung beetle," or "Look at the old dung beetle there." Gregor never responded to being spoken to that way, but just remained where he was without moving, as if the door had never been opened. Never even been opened, oh my god. Man, Gregor is an asshole. He's not really an asshole, he's just kinda like going through it. Got bacon with that? No, I'm Jewish. No, I'm eating waffles, damn. She met on my morph until I says hello, can't say long, but I want to say hi, Cassie, hi, thank you for coming in. Also, oh my god, is that Dark Black 011? It's been so long, bro, what's up? I'm a VTuber. You know that, I've been a VTuber. I should get water. This is a good sign for me to get water. Maybe. Hello, Dark. Oh my god, it's been so long! Ah! Hold on, let me there might be water in my room somewhere. Let me go find some. Scurrying for my water. I'm popping back over to YouTube. Oh, okay. I'm gonna go find some water. I'll be back 1 second. Ow. I found some water and then I drank it. I can't prove that I did, but so you just have to take my word for it. Watch your number go up. Top 1 drinks ever, not gonna lie. Truth. Arrow, Apollo, Rena, hello. Take care, Darky. Oh, whoa. Oh, whoa. 7 streak. Whoa. Whoa. Okay. Back to locking the freak in. But just remained where he was without moving, as if the door had never ever been opened. Never even been opened. Oh my god. If only they had told this charwoman to clean up his room every day instead of letting her disturb him for no reason whenever she felt like it. One day, early in the morning while a heavy rain struck his window panes, perhaps indicating that spring was coming, she began to speak to him in that way once again. Gregor was so resentful of it that he started to move toward her. He was slow and infirm, but it was like a kind of attack. Instead of being afraid, the charwoman just lifted up one of the chairs from near the door and stood there with her mouth open, clearly intending not to close her mouth until the chair in her hand had been slammed down into Gregor's back. "Aren't you coming any closer then?" she asked when Gregor turned around again, and she calmly put the chair back in the corner. One day. Also, hi, Light Trace. Hello. How you doing? We're reading the Metamorphosis because Gregor Samsa is a cool guy. Yes. He. Let me put my headphones back on in case someone redeems something. Ahem. And the woman with the steel chair. Hey! Is this a Milgram reference? Oh my god, Milgram reference? Gregor Samsung. My favorite refrigerator. Oh man. Okay, Gregor had almost entirely stopped eating. Only if he had happened to find himself next to the food that had been prepared for him, he might take some of it into his mouth to play with it, leave it there a few hours, and then, more often than not, spit it out again. At first he thought it was distress at the state of his room that stopped him eating, but he had soon got used to the changes made there. They had gotten into the habit of putting things into this room that they had no room for anywhere else. There are now many such things, as one of the rooms in the flat had been rented out to 3 gentlemen. These earnest gentlemen, all 3 of them had full beards, as Gregor learned to peering through the cracks in the door one day, were painfully insistent on things being tidy. This meant not only in their own room, but, since they had taken a room in this establishment, in the entire flat, and especially in the kitchen. Unnecessary clutter was something they could not tolerate, especially if it was dirty. They had moreover brought most of their own furnishings and equipment with them. For this reason, many things had become superfluous, which, although they could not be sold, the family did not wish to discard. All these things found their way into Gregor's room. The dustbins from the kitchen found their way in there too. The charwoman was always in a hurry, and anything she couldn't use for the time being, she would just chuck in there. He, fortunately, would usually see no more than the object in the hand that held it. The woman most likely meant to fetch the things back out again when she had time and the opportunity, or to throw everything out in one go. But what actually happened was that they were left where they had landed when they had first been thrown, unless Gregor made his way through the junk and moved it somewhere else. At first he moved it because, with no other room free where he could crawl about, he was forced to, but later on he came to enjoy it, although moving about in that way left him sad and tired to death, and he would remain immobile for hours afterwards. Whoop. Man, Gregor's family are assholes. Man, everyone is an asshole. Yes, they very much are. Finished my waffles. Very tasty. Yay! Is this a story to talk about man become but bug? Yes, it is. This is the story of how Gregor Samsa became a bug, and how he tried to live through it all, and you're currently at the part where he gives up and he just lets everything happen. Every family has assholes. Very true. Very true. Very true. Every family does have assholes. That's how human anatomy works. Hey! You're so right about that. You're so right. Ahem. The gentleman who rented the room would sometimes take their evening meal at home in the living room that was used by everyone, and so the door to this room was often kept closed in the evening. But Gregor found it easy to give up having the door open. He had, after all, often failed to make use of it when he was open, and, without the family having noticed it, laid in his room in the darkest corner. One time, though, the charwoman left the door to the living room slightly open, and it remained open when the gentleman who rented the room came in in the evening, and the light was put on. They sat up at the table where, formerly, Gregor had taken his meals with his father and mother. And it was time to drink water. True. True. They unfolded the serviettes and picked up their knives and forks. Gregor's mother immediately appeared in the door with a dish of meat, and soon behind her came his sister with a dish piled high with potatoes. The food was steaming, and filled the room with its smell. The gentleman bent over the dishes set in front of them, as if they wanted to test the food before eating it. And the gentleman in the middle, who seemed to count as an authority for the other two, did indeed cut off a piece of meat while it was still in its dish, clearly wishing to establish whether it was sufficiently cooked or whether it should be sent back to the kitchen. It was to his satisfaction, and Gregor's mother and sister, who had been looking on anxiously, began to breathe again and smiled. I fear the men who can eat waffles, maple syrup, ice cream, and whipped cream without drinking water afterwards. True, that does sound very sweet. That does sound very sweet. Like, as good as that sounds, it sounds very sugary. And so I would hope that you drink water afterwards. The family themselves ate in the kitchen. Nonetheless, Gregor's father came into the living room before he went into the kitchen, bowed once with his cap in his hand, and did his round of the table. The gentlemen stood as one, and mumbled something into their beards. Then, once they were alone, they ate in near-perfect silence. It seemed remarkable to Gregor that above all, the various noises of eating their chewing teeth could still be heard, as if they had wanted to show Gregor that you need teeth in order to eat, and it was not possible to perform anything with jaws that are toothless, however nice they might be. I'd like to eat something, said Gregor anxiously, but not anything like they're eating. They do feed themselves, and here I am, dying. Diabetes speedrun, very true. Throughout all this time, Gregor could not remember having heard the violin being played, but this evening it began to be heard from the kitchen. The three gentlemen had already finished their meal. My tummy acid rumbling. Same. Just kidding. My tummy acid ain't rumbling. For me, it's straight up gas in my stomach, because it hurts, and it sucks! Maybe I should have a 12 a.m. snack. Yes, you should. You should. Throughout all this time, Gregor could not remember having heard the violin being played, but this evening it began to be heard from the kitchen. The three gentlemen had already finished their meal. The one in the middle had produced... No! Ah! Ah! Hamburgers. I got one date. No, it's glitching. We are back. It's gone. You guys, are we back? Are we so back? Stream dead. No. Oh boy. No. It's happening again. No! Oh, Renata, the pings! The horror! The Met Barrage, I know. I think it's good for now. I don't want to jinx myself, but I think it's good for now. We're so back. I summon Apollo of Suns to retain thy streak. Yes, true. Retain thy streak. Still back, we solid. It's like the snake. Solid like the snake. Hey. Okay. On the contrary, would the young lady not like to come in and play for us here in the room, where it is, after all, much more cozy and comfortable? Oh yes, we'd love to, called back Gregor's father as if he had been the violin player himself. The gentleman stepped back into the room and waited. Gregor's father soon appeared with the music stand, his mother with the music, and his sister with the violin. She calmly prepared everything for her to begin playing. His parents, who had never rented a room out before and therefore showed an exaggerated courtesy towards the gentleman, did not even dare to sit on their own chairs. His father leant against the door with his right hand pushed in between two buttons on his uniform coat. His mother, though, was offered a seat by one of the gentlemen and sat, leaving the chair where the gentleman happened to have placed it out of the way in the corner. Latency check. As I was saying, this stream is fun. Yes, indeed. I already did. Hi, Guster. I don't know if you were here, but we glitched out for a little bit, and it was funny. It was funny. It was silly. Man. Hi, Ren. How are you? Oh my God, it's Jordan Goku. What's up, dude? New streak. Yes, new streak. We are suffering. Yeah, I'm gonna chill here a bit. Okay. I just got home and missed it. Whoa. No, it's okay. You missed the stream buffering, but that's okay. You can miss the stream buffering. That's okay. We're reading this Metamorphosis. Yay. Ahem. His sister began to play. Father and mother paid close attention, one on each side, to the movements of her hands. Drawn in by the playing, Gregor had dared to come forward a little and already had his head in the living room. Before, he had taken and managed to keep my little ADHD mind in check. True. Woe is you. I broke my foot. No! Don't break your foot. That's bad for you. Fire. No. Okay. Already had his head in the living room. Before, he had taken great pride in how considerate he was, but now it hardly occurred to him that he had become so thoughtless about others. What's more, there was now all the more reason to keep himself hidden, as he was covered in the dust that lay everywhere in his room and flew up at the slightest movement. He carried threads, hairs, and remnants of food about on his back and sides. He was much too indifferent to everything now to lay on his back and wipe himself on the carpet like he had used to do several times a day. And despite this condition, he was not too shy to move forward a little onto the immaculate floor of the living room. No one noticed him, though. The family was totally preoccupied with the violin playing. At first, the three gentlemen had put their hands in their pockets and come up far too close behind the music stand to look at all the notes being played. They must have disturbed Gregor's sister. But soon, in contrast with the family, they drew back to the window with their heads sunk and talking to each other at half volume. They stayed by the window while Gregor's father observed them anxiously. It really now seemed very obvious that they had expected to hear some beautiful or entertaining violin playing, but had been disappointed. That they had had enough of the whole performance, and it was only now out of politeness that they allowed their peace to be disturbed. It was especially unnerving, the way they all blew the smoke from the cigarettes upwards from their mouths and noses. Yet Gregor's sister was playing so beautifully. Her face was leant to one side, following the lines of music with a careful and melancholy expression. Gregor crawled a little further forward, keeping his head close to the ground so that he could meet her eyes if the chance came. Was he an animal if music could captivate him so? It seemed to him that he was being shown the way to the unknown nourishment he had been yearning for. He was determined to make his way forward to his sister and tug at her skirt to show her she might come into his room with her violin, as no one appreciated her playing here as much as he would. He never wanted to let her out of the room, not while he lived anyway. His shocking appearance should, for once, be of some use to him. He wanted to be at every door of his room at once to hiss and spit at the attackers. His sister should not be forced to stay with him, though, but stay of her own free will. She would sit beside him on the couch with her ear bent down to him, while he told her how he had always intended to send her to the conservatory, how he would have told everyone about it last Christmas. Had Christmas really come and gone already? If this misfortune hadn't got in the way, and refused to let anyone dissuade him from it. On hearing all this, his sister would break out in tears of emotion, and Gregor would climb up to his shoulder and kiss her neck, which, since she had been going out to work, she had kept free without any necklace or collar. Hooah! Hooah! Broke my foot in school. Oh, school bad. Why school bad? They're gonna kill Gregor, aren't they? Wink! 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 Yeah. I broke my foot. Why? No! My violin's located in me too. No! My violin! Me when I'm Hindley. Me when I'm secretly Hindley. Mr. Samsa! Shouted the mental gentleman to Gregor's father, pointing without wasting any more words with his forefinger at Gregor as he slowly moved forward. The violin went silent. The middle of the three gentlemen first smiled at his two friends, shaking his head, and then looked back at Gregor. His father seemed to think it more important to calm the three gentlemen before driving Gregor out, even though they were not at all upset and seemed to think Gregor was more entertaining than the violin playing had been. He rushed up to them with his arms spread out and attempted to drive them back into their room at the same time as trying to block the view of Gregor with his body. Now they did become a little annoyed, and it was not clear whether it was his father's behavior that annoyed them or the growing realization that they had a neighbor like Gregor in the next room without knowing it. They asked Gregor's father for explanations, raised their arms like he had, tugged excitedly at their beards, and moved back towards their room only very slowly. Meanwhile, Gregor's sister had overcome the despair she had fallen into when her playing was suddenly interrupted. She had let her hands drop and let violin and bow hang limply for a while, but continued to look at the music as if still playing. But then she suddenly pulled herself together, laid the instrument on his mother's lap, who still sat laboriously struggling for breath where she was, and ran into the next room, which, under pressure from her father, the three gentlemen were more quickly moving towards. Under his sister's experienced hand, the pillows and covers on the beds flew up and were put into order as she had already finished making the beds and slipped out again before the three gentlemen had reached the room. Gregor's father seemed so obsessed with what he was doing that he forgot all the respect he owed to his tenants. He urged all of them quickly. He urged them and pressed... Oh my god, I can't read. He urged them and pressed them until, when he was already at the door of the room, the middle of the three gentlemen shouted like thunder and stamped his foot, and thereby brought Gregor's father to a halt. I declare here and now, he said, raising his hand and glancing at Gregor's mother and sister to gain their attention too, that with regard to the repugnant conditions that prevailed in this flat and this family, here he looked briefly but decisively at this floor. I give immediate notice of my room. For the days I have been living here, I will, of course, pay nothing at all. On the contrary, I will consider whether to proceed with some kind of action for damages from you. Believe me, it would be very easy to set on the grounds for such an action. He was silent and looked straight ahead as if waiting for something. And indeed, his two friends joined him with the words, "Let me also give immediate notice." With that, he took hold of the door handle and slammed the door. That's so L. That's so L. How did Gregor's pregnant meme happen? I don't know. I think it became a thing because of Project Moon Twitter. Racism? Really? Because I'm still kind of new. Wait, what? It's because Gregor and pregnant sound similar, I guess. Gregnant. I don't know. I'm gonna dip for a bit. Blah. Bye-bye, Endless. Thank you for coming in. Have a good day if you're gonna leave forever. I know you said for a bit, but you never know. You never know. You never know. Anyways. Gregaginant. Yeah. Gregor's father staggered back to his seat, feeling his way with his hands, and fell into it. It looked as if he was stretching himself out for his usual evening nap, but from the uncontrolled way his head kept nodding, it could be seen that he was not sleeping at all. Hold on. Okay, we good. Throughout all this, Gregor had lain still where the three gentlemen had first seen him. His disappointment at the failure of his plan, and perhaps also because he was weak from hunger, made it impossible for him to move and would turn on him any moment. No! Why? We upping the quality with this one. No, lag spike. Oh, hamburgers. Is it gonna return? Is it gonna return to normal? Is it gonna return? It returned to normal! Run a screama. Yes, run a screama. Yeah. We're so back. It's back. We're back. We're so back. Hello, Renapolis. Was this a bad time to join stream? No, you're good. Is it back? It might have been just on account of high-key everything is lagging really bad. Also, hello, Endo. Yes, we are back though. I believe. I hope. How much longer do we have? We have quite a ways away. Oh my goodness gracious. It's okay. We'll make it. Make it like Cosmez, who returneth. As I was saying, how can Europeans live in such cold truth? Father, mother, said his sister, hitting the table with her hand as introduction. We can't carry on like this. Maybe you can't see it, but I can. I don't want to call this monster my brother. All I can say is we have to try and get rid of it. We've done all that's humanly possible to look after it and be patient. I don't think anyone could accuse us of doing anything wrong. She's absolutely right, said Gregor's father to himself. His mother, who still had not had time to catch her breath, began to cough dully, her hand held out in front of her and a deranged expression in her eyes. Gregor's sister rushed to his mother and put her hand on her forehead. Her words seemed to give Gregor's father some more definite ideas. He sat upright, played with his uniform cap between the plates left by the three gentlemen after the meal, and occasionally looked down at Gregor as he lay there immobile. We have to try and get rid of it, said Gregor's sister, now speaking only to her father, as her mother was too occupied with coughing to listen. It'll be the death of both of you. I can see it coming. We can't all work as hard as we have to and then come home to be tortured like this. We can't endure it. I can't endure it anymore. And she broke out so heavily in tears that they flowed down the face of her mother, and she wiped them away with mechanical hand movements. Gregor Celsius. Gregor racism. I know. We back in the tracks. We back in the tracks. Look, it may be 35 degrees Celsius winter here where I live, but at least it's not so fucking cold. Damn. Damn. The stream was dying earlier? Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. I don't know. What if eat expired chips? Don't do that. Don't do that. I know they're chips, but also don't do that. Don't do that. Apollo. Don't do that. My child, said her father with sympathy and obvious understanding. What are we to do? His sister just shrugged her shoulders as a sign of the helplessness and tears that had taken hold of her, displacing her earlier uncertainty. Certainty. If you could just understand us, said his father almost as a question. His sister shook her hand vigorously through her tears as a sign there was no question. Okay. Wording. But I'm hungry. But I have other things to eat. I don't know what else to eat. No! Chips are best expired slush shit. I guess, but still. What if you turn like me? What if you become super bloated? The stream had crashed. Suddenly one day, my stream had crashed. If you could just understand us, repeated Gregor's father, closing his eyes in acceptance of his sister's certainty that this was quite impossible. Then perhaps we could come to some kind of arrangement with him, but as it is, it's got to go, shouted his sister. That's the only way, father. You've got to get rid of the idea that that's Gregor. We've only harmed ourselves by believing it for so long. How can that be Gregor? If it were Gregor, he would have seen long ago that it's not possible for human beings to live with an animal like that, and he would have gone of his own free will. We wouldn't have a brother anymore, then. But we could carry on with our lives and remember him with respect. As it is, this animal is persecuting us. It's driven out our tenants. It obviously wants to take over the whole flat and force us to sleep on the streets. Father, look, just look, she suddenly screamed. He's starting again. In her alarm, which was totally beyond Gregor's comprehension, his sister even abandoned his mother as she pushed herself vigorously out of her chair, as if more willing to sacrifice her own mother than stay anywhere near Gregor. She rushed over to behind her father, who had become excited merely because she was, and stood up, half raising his hands in front of Gregor's sister as if to protect her. But Gregor had no intention of frightening anyone, least of all his sister. All he had done was begin to turn around so that he could go back into his room, although that was in itself quite startling, as his pain-racked condition meant that turning around required a great deal of effort, and he was using his head to help himself do it, repeatedly raising it and striking it against the floor. He stopped and looked around. They seemed to have realized his good intention and had only been alarmed briefly. Now they all looked at him in unhappy silence. His mother lay in her chair with her legs stretched out and pressed against each other, her eyes nearly closed with exhaustion. His sister sat next to his father with her arms around his neck. Wow. Man, I really can't spell today. Me too. Where's the part where a comedically fat cockroach is lying on a bed? Shrug. This happened, I think that happened like literally part 1. This just reminded me of Roshi season ego. It's a dress that symbolizes the death of birth, death of the original house of family birth into you and cause surname change. We are gonna read next week. We're gonna read the Spider's Thread because I think people should read it, and by people I mean us, because I haven't read it yet. For just specifically the death part, the rebirth dress is more colorful. Foo-wah, foo-wah. Okay, maybe now they'll let me turn around, thought Gregor, and went back to work. He could not help panting loudly with the effort and had sometimes to stop and take a rest. No one was making him rush anymore. Everything was left up to him. As soon as he had finally finished turning around, he began to move straight ahead. He was amazed at the great distance that separated him from his room, and could not understand how he had covered that distance in his weak state a little while before and almost without noticing it. He concentrated on crawling as fast as he could, and hardly noticed that there was not a word, not any cry, from his family to distract him. He did not turn his head until he had reached the doorway. He did not turn it all the way around, as he felt his neck becoming stiff, but it was nonetheless enough to see that nothing behind him had changed. Only his sister had stood up. With his last glance, he saw that his mother had now fallen completely asleep. Roosters were funny enough if I recall, it's never stated what kind of Bucky transforms into. Ah! Sure, we all just assume it's a cockroach because of visuals from, like, publishers. But, like, we never know what Bucky turns into. They never stated. Must be hating, but I know stale chips are peak. I guess. They are pretty good. We'll be going to the spider's bed. Hell yeah. Yeah. It is just. Ungeziefer. Yes. Pest. The maid calls him a dung beetle. Ah, really? Oh yeah, she does. She does call him a dung beetle. The translation. I don't know if, like, he actually is a dung beetle, though. Maybe she could be, like, mistaken. Question mark. So who knows? Who knows? He was hardly inside his room before the door was hurriedly shut, bolted and locked. The sudden noise behind Gregor so startled him that his little legs collapsed under him. It was his sister who had been in so much of a rush. She had been standing there waiting and sprung forward lightly. Gregor had not heard her coming at all, and as she turned the key out in the lock, she said loudly to her parents, "At last!" Yeah, maids, am I right? I don't know. I wouldn't know anything about maids. I don't have maids. Looks at Nelly Smelly. Oh. What now then? Gregor asked himself as he looked around in the darkness. He soon made the discovery that he could no longer move at all. This was no surprise to him. It seemed rather that being able to actually move around on those spindly little legs until then was unnatural. He also felt relatively comfortable. It is true that his entire body was aching, but the pain seemed to be slowly getting weaker and weaker and would finally disappear altogether. He could hardly feel the decayed apple on his back or the inflamed area around it, which was entirely covered in white dust. He thought back of his family with emotion and love. If it was possible, he felt then that he must go away even more strongly than his sister. He remained in a state of empty and peaceful rumination until he heard the clock's towers strike 3 in the morning. He watched as it slowly began to get light everywhere outside the window too. Then, without his feeling it, his head sank down completely, and his last breath flowed weakly from his nostrils. When the cleaner came in early in the morning, they'd often asked her not to keep slamming the doors, but with her strength and her hurry she still did, so that everyone in the flat knew when she'd arrived, and from then on it was impossible to sleep in peace. She made her usual brief look in on Gregor, and at first found nothing special. She thought he was laying there so still on purpose, playing the martyr. She attributed all possible understanding to him. She happened to be holding the long broom in her hand, so she tried to tickle Gregor from the doorway. But she had no success with that. She tried to make a nuisance of herself and poked at him a little, and only when she found that she could shove him across the floor with no resistance at all did she start to pay attention. She soon realized what had really happened, opened her eyes wide, whistled to herself, but did not waste time to yank open the bedroom doors and shout loudly into the darkness of the bedrooms, "Come and have a look at this! It's dead, just lying there, stone dead!" My God was behind a couple of seconds. "No! Alright, I hope things are going well. Hello, security, hi! Hi! We're almost done, I think. Question mark. No, we're not. We have a ways away. It's okay. It's only like a few more paragraphs, actually. So we're good. We're good." Mr. and Mrs. Samsa sat upright in their marriage bed and had to make an effort to get over the shock caused by the cleaner before they could grasp what she was saying. But then, each from his own side, they hurried out of bed. Mr. Samsa threw the blanket over his shoulders. Mrs. Samsa just came out of her nightdress, and that is how they went into Gregor's room. On the way, they had opened the door to the living room where Greta had been sleeping since the 3 gentlemen had moved in. She was as fully dressed as if she had never been asleep, and the paleness of her face seemed to confirm this. "Dead?" asked Mrs. Samsa, looking at the charwoman inquiringly, even though she could have checked for herself and they could have known it even without checking. "That's what I said," replied the cleaner, and to prove it she gave Gregor's body another shove with the broom, sending it sideways across the floor. Mrs. Samsa made a movement as if she wanted to hold back the broom, but did not complete it. "Now then," said Mr. Samsa, "let's give thanks to God for that." He crossed himself, and the 3 women followed his example. Greta, who had not taken her eyes from the corpse, said, "Just look at how thin he was. He didn't eat anything for so long. The food came out again just the same as when it went in." Gregor's body was indeed completely dried up and flat. They had not seen it until then, but now he was not lifted up on his little legs, nor did he do anything to make them look away. "I almost don't have the red period. Hi, red period, I'm dead. Murder! They're killing him! He's already dead! He's already dead!" "Greta, come with us in here for a little while," said Mrs. Samsa with a pained smile. And Greta followed her parents into the bedroom, but not without looking back at the body. The cleaner shut the door and opened the window wide. Although it was still early in the morning, the fresh air had something of warmth mixed in with it. It was already the end of March, after all. The 3 gentlemen stepped out of their room and looked around in amazement for their breakfasts. They had been forgotten about. "Where's our breakfast?" the middle gentleman asked the cleaner irritably. She just put her finger to her lips and made a quick and silent sign to the men that they might like to come into Gregor's room. They did so, and stood around Gregor's corpse with their hands in their pockets of their well-worn coats. It was now quite light in the room. Then the door of the bedroom opened, and Mr. Samsa appeared in his uniform with his wife on one arm and his daughter on the other. All of them had been crying a little. Greta now and then pressed her face against her father's arm. "Leave my home. Now, said Mr. Samsa, indicating the door without letting the woman from him. What do you mean? Asked the middle of the three gentlemen, somewhat disconcerted, and he smiled sweetly. The other two held their hands behind their backs and continually rubbed them together in gleeful anticipation of a loud quarrel, which could only end in their favor. I mean just what I said, answered Mr. Samsa. And with his two companions went in a straight line towards the man. At first, he stood there still, looking at the ground as if the contents of his head were rearranging themselves into new positions. All right, we'll go then, he said, and looked up at Mr. Samsa as if he had been suddenly overcome with humility and wanted permission again from Mr. Samsa for his decision. Mr. Samsa merely opened his eyes wide and briefly nodded to him several times. At that, and without delay, the man actually did take long strides into the front hallway. His two friends had stopped rubbing their hands some time before, and had been listening to what was being said. Now they jumped off after their friends as if taken with a sudden fear that Mr. Samsa might go into the hallway in front of them and break the connection with their leader. Once there, all three took their hats from the stand, took their sticks from the holder, bowed without a word, and left the premises. Mr. Samsa and the two women followed them out to the landing, but they had no reason to mistrust the men's intentions, and as they leaned over the landing, they saw how the three gentlemen made slow but steady progress down the many steps. As they turned the corner on each floor, they disappeared and reappear a few moments later. The further down they went, the more that the Samsa family lost interest in them. But when a butcher's boy, proud of posture with his tray on his head, passed them on his way up and came nearer than they were, Mr. Samsa and the woman came back away from the landing and went as if relieved back into the flat. Justice for my boy Gregor. So true. God, this ending left me crying. I personally didn't cry, but I was like dejected, man. I was depressed. High crying of the red period. Oh my god. I think I can't raise my streak for a while. Makes sense. It's the middle of the night for me right now. Bye bye, right on chat. Bye, mommy. Have a good night. Stay safe. Stay hydrated. Don't die. And make sure to drink water before and after going to bed. I haven't drank my water after bed. I drank my water before bed, but not after. It was good though. I liked drinking water. I drank hot water. Not hot water. It was warm. But that's okay. Same thing. Same difference. They decided the best way to make use of that day was for relaxation and to go for a walk. Not only had they earned a break from work, but they were in serious need of it. So they sat at the table and wrote 3 letters of excusal. Mr. Samsa to his employers, Mrs. Samsa to her contractor, and Greta to her principal. The cleaner came in while they were writing to tell them she was going. She finished her work for that morning. The 3 of them at first just nodded without looking up from what they were writing. It was only when the cleaner still did not seem to want to leave that they looked up in irritation. Well? Asked Mr. Samsa. The charwoman stood in the doorway with a smile on her face as if she had some tremendous good news to report, but would only do it if she was clearly asked to. The almost vertical little ostrich feather on her hat, which had been a source of irritation to Mr. Samsa all the time she had been working for them, swayed gently in all directions. What is it you want, then? Asked Mr. Samsa, who the cleaner had the most respect for. Yes, she answered, and broke into a friendly laugh that made her unable to speak straight away. Well then, that thing in there. You needn't worry about how you're going to get rid of it. That's all been sorted out. Mrs. Samsa and Greta bent down over the letters as if intent on continuing with what they were writing. Mr. Samsa saw that the cleaner wanted to start describing everything in detail, but, with outstretched hand, he made it quite clear that she was not to. So, as she was prevented from telling them all about it, she suddenly remembered what a hurry she was in, feeling peeved, called out, "Cheerio then, everyone," turned around sharply and left, slamming the door terribly as she went. What kind of psychopath likes hot water? It's sweet and gross, and I hate it. Exactly, a real psychopath enjoys lukewarm water. Hot water is good for you. I felt more furious than sad. That's fair. That's fair. Hot water is good for you. Cold water is not quite weird enough. Cold water is the norm, bro. Cold water is unseasoned boiled chicken, bro. Like, everyone eats that. Not everyone eats that, but like, it's so bland and normal. It's good though. It's good though. Maybe it's not unseasoned. It's like grilled chicken. There we go. It's like grilled chicken. Everyone eats it. That's why I drink sparkling water exclusively now. Nice. Also, hi, Lux. Hi. Cold water is the norm for a reason. It is, I guess. It's like the safe option, but hot water is like, it gives you health benefits. It stops my bloating a little bit. It's tasty. Like hot water, I'll choke it down for the health benefits, but like, I'm hungover. Nice. Nice. I hope you had fun when you were drinking. Yeah. It's okay, that's what matters. Drink more water. Water has a taste, and I'm trying to pretend like it doesn't. It does have a taste. It does have a taste, and it's very dependent on temperature. However, I am of the firm belief that cold water is a little overrated, because It's because it makes you more constipated. Like, it's good, but also, like, digestion, bro. It's bad for your digestion. Renata enables alcoholism. No, I don't. Thankfully, I wasn't tired by drinking the blood and tears of my enemies, but not the sweat. I'm not weird like that. Oh, okay. Tonight she gets sacked, said Mr. Samsa, but he received no reply from either his wife or his daughter, as the charwoman seemed to have destroyed the peace they had only just gained. They got up and went over to the window, where they remained with their arms around each other. Mr. Samsa twisted around in his chair to look at them and sat there watching for a while. Then he called out, "Come here then. Let's forget about all that old stuff, shall we? Come and give me a bit of attention." The two women immediately did as he said, hurrying over to him, where they kissed him and hugged him, and then they quickly finished their letters. I bought an extremely ginger coat and then drank extremely mid cocktails and 5 out of 10 wine. Oh, it's okay. You still drank stuff. I just used photosynthesis. Very true. It's okay. You got a coat out of it. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. This reminds me, I want to play more Pokemon so I can do character customization. I don't know. I'm like low-key okay with my character right now. So I don't really care about character customization past the point I'm already at. You know, Renata, I feel like back on your PM days. What about back on my PM days? La 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 la. La 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 la. We wait for the message. As we do that, we read. After that, the three of them had left the flat together, which was something they had not done for months, and took the tram out to the open country outside the town. They had the tram, filled with warm sunshine, all to themselves. Leaned back comfortably on their seats, they discussed their prospects and found out on closer examination they were not all that bad. Until then, they had never asked each other about their work, but all three had jobs which were very good and had particularly good promise for the future. The greatest improvement for the time being, of course, would be achieved quite easily by moving house. What they needed now was a flat that was smaller and cheaper than the current one which had been chosen by Gregor, one that was in a better location and most of all more practical. All the time, Greta had become livelier. With all the worry they had been having of late, her cheeks had become pale, but while they were talking, Mr. and Mrs. Sampson were struck almost simultaneously with the thought of how their daughter was blossoming into a well-built and beautiful young lady. They became quieter. Just from each other's glance and almost without knowing it, they agreed that it would soon be time to find a good man for her. And, as if in confirmation of their new dreams and good intentions, as soon as they reached their destination, Greta was the first to get up and stretch out her young body. Huh. And that's the end of it. We reached the end. Yeah. Didn't really have any PM streamer friends. I realized though that Dark is a streamer now. You totally could. Damn, yeah, what about it? Damn, no friends? Yeah. Metamorphed. Bro is metamorphed. Anyways, that was the Metamorphosis. Yeah! Woohoo! Metamorphosis! And then it's just copyright stuff, which I'm not dealing with, so that's why I'm not monetizing this VOD. Yeah! Wow. We did it. We finished the meta. We did! Yay! Anyways, what do we think? Metamorphosication. The Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka Blow. Did you know that you got a good reading voice? Thank you. That means a lot. Considering I do reading streams pretty often. Not pretty often, but often enough. Anyways, what are our thoughts? I think it was sad. Not obscurity, very true. Party poppers. Hehehe. Now read the good Metamorphosis of it. You so right. I'll read that on my own time. Book. Imagine collabing with Dark. Wild. How wild. I hate the family. That's true. Are you British? No. It's a really freaking sad book. It is a really freaking sad book. Especially the father. True, the father did suck. Although I think the mother was like arguably the best of them. She was just kind of sad the entire time. Meanwhile, Greta like turned on him like very last minute, and it was like not fun, and it was very sad. But it's like, it's a good and sad story. Yes, Renata, you had one job. What job? What? I learned a lot more of it than I thought for having read it in the 5th grade for fun. Huh. 5th grade is crazy. All 2 books called Metamorphosis. This one is the second saddest. I see. I will read the other one at some point. Depressed mom. Yes. And you had to just be the one to say it. Betrayal. Yes. How is it crazy? Because usually when I hear people reading Metamorphosis, it's like high school. Like, I don't know. When is the dad Herman? Yes. Wait, what do Americans read in the 5th grade? I forgot. Holes? Oh, I missed everything. No! Oh, hell no. I forgot what I read in the 5th grade. I read Holes, I read Harry Potter, I read Percy Jackson, I don't know, we didn't get to classics until like 8th grade. Did they make you read The Hungry Caterpillar? That's crazy. Yeah. I'm gonna read the other Metamorphosis. I don't know if I have it in one of my anthologies. I might. I don't know. I might have it. If not, I'll go buy a copy at some point. Yeah. Metamorphosis in 5th grade is kind of crazy. Yeah, I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. Does Gregor have lesbian mothers? And Limbus Company, maybe. In Limbus Company, he might. I know someone at that age would get much out of the book. Yeah. Yeah. Unless you're like super smart, but like Lux, you're smart, so like you probably got it. Yeah, I did read it in high school. Yeah. Also, hello, Jaros. Or Jaroslav. Ah, Jaroslav? One of those. I remember Metamorphosis through your stream. Oh my god, Kya! Kya! My really scuffed buffery stream. What the girl? I got no notice. Roy! What's up, dude? We are ending stream soon because we finished reading. I don't read because you're a Project Moon fan, right? Hi! Hi! Imagine doing a short stream with the hooks of reading 10 books in one stream. We're not stopping until we finish. It's just kids' books. Oh my god, imagine. What? I know! I know! It's so sad! Ah! Ah! Yeah, we finished the book already. Book, short story, novella, one of those. We're just talking about it now, about how it was like dejected. I just got here, so just say you hate me. No, I don't hate you. I don't hate you. I don't hate you. I don't hate you. No. 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 We're like, Great Expectations and Inferno. Ren, I got a good game series for you. What is the game series? Mind if I eat your books? Oh no. Oh no, don't eat my books. Read Pale Fire next. We are reading The Spanish Thread next. I can read short stories. Pale Fire. Novel by Vladimir Nabokov. I will keep that in mind. I will keep that tab open. Read every Captain Underpants book. That's crazy. Do you think you'd accept Gregor if he had to deal with that situation? That's the thing. I don't know if I would. I don't know if I would, is the thing. Cause it's like, that's such an unfamiliar situation. Like, if my brother got turned into, a bug, I'd be pretty grossed out too. I remember Hellscreen. We remember Hellscreen. It's got Hyperdimension Neptunia. Oh, I've heard of that one. It's one of my favorites. I've heard of that one. Oh my god, Roy and Jordan know each other. Yeah. I remember Metamorphosis. I never read them, but I was just like staring at the covers as a kid. Ooh. Ooh. They do have good covers because they're all like intricate and bug-like. Spoiler alert, but Yoshi does Silver Slide. Ah! Posture check. Posture check. So not that good for streaming. Oh, I did read Hellscreen on stream once. Did y'all read the I Survive series? I think I read one. I don't remember. The only thing about bugs is their unpredictability. Very true. But Greg can speak. Greg can speak. I don't know how he didn't speak more, but that's okay, I guess. You know, anything for literary development. I mean, they do explain it. They do explain it that they couldn't. That his voice is pretty like incoherent. So I guess that's it. I guess that would be it. But yeah, yep. Metamorphosis. My stomach hurts. It still hurts. The president of the U.S. can also speak, but it's highly unpredictable. So the two categories are not related. True. 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 Read copy pastas. Okay. That's copy pasta. We can read the boys smell copy pasta. Like he likely could have written something simpler if he was given a proper chance. Dot. Just read a bunch of them. Yes. Oh, I can't type. Okay. Victoria retry now, Dre. Is this a boy I smell? Okay. Here we go, guys. Why am I reading these? I don't know. Is that a boy I smell? Yes, I smell it. A boy smell. I smell a boy. What is a boy doing here? Oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? There's a boy here. I'm freaking out so much. Calm down, and take a nice deep breath. It smells so good. I love boy smell so much. It makes me feel so amazing. I'm getting tingles all over from the delicious boy scent. It's driving me boy crazy. If you are a boy and you are reading this, I just want to say hi, cute boy. I love you. Okay. That's it. If you custom tailored clothes for me, you'd probably look like a dignified little creature. True. I'm sorry, Dino. I'm sorry, Dino. You didn't hear anything. You didn't hear anything. I'm sorry, Dino. I'm sorry, Dino. My ice candy. That's good. I've had ice candy like last week. I miss it. I want to eat more. Or hammer reading. No. Other than Metamorphosis was the last book you read. I read part 4 of Secrets of a Silent Witch, which is like, I know it's not like literary, but it was enjoyable. What? Arc book reading. Alright, Rena. I sure do like being a guy. Time to unfollow, block, unsubscribe. No! No! This is great. Should not request channel stream of all tribe. No! Please stop. I'm sorry. Do it again. No! Oh boy, lurk. Stop traumatizing us, please. Silent witch mention! Silent witch mention! Yeah! Silent witch mention! I need to read another book. I'm currently reading the Yorha Boys. It's manga literature, by the way. It depends on who you ask. For me, sure. Why the hell not? Anything is literature if you try hard enough. If you think about it enough, you know? Even that one manga, what's it called? Freaking girlfriend book. Burn the Witch. W show, by the way. Are you planning to do some co-op gaming on stream? I don't have people to collab with. So far, what I do have is Iriumbergs. Burn the witch. They burned her dad. Burn the witch. Forgot why, but it was some forbidden magecraft. True. I don't remember why. Yeah, I think that was it. We should call a famous VTuber Roy R. Boy. Oh my god, you're so right. Oh my god, famous VTuber Roy R. Boy who I should collab with. Burn the witch. Rent a girlfriend. There we go. That's what it's called. Rent a girlfriend. That freaking manga that everyone hates. Yeah. I said it depends on how good the manga is. Yes. Researching forbidden magecraft in the kingdom is a death sentence. Yes. I remember that. I want to get part 5. Rent a girlfriend stinks. Truth nuke. I want to get part 5, but I don't. It's not available anywhere. You probably wouldn't consider book talk romance slop as literature either. Book talk? I mean, it is because it's written down. It's just not good. Like, the MC literally drinking off and rent a girlfriend. Is he? That's crazy. But like, yeah, book talk to become VTubers for co-op gaming will become real. If you ever, I sent resources that one time. Apollo sent them in the Discord server, so you could totally find them and become a VTuber. Hi, Key. That would be great. That'd be fire. I love when viewers become VTubers. It's so much fun. Oh my god. But like, yeah, book talk romance slop. It's, wink wink, become a VTuber. Wink. Those people scare me. True. They're all like spicy romance, dark romance, and I'm like, why do we care so much about tropes? Why don't we care about the themes? Which is like, sounds so condescending, but it's like, at the same time, it's like, sure, like, you can read whatever you want. Don't get me wrong. You can read whatever you want. But there are good books and there are bad books. They freak you, not in a good way. True. What's your favorite great stage on Silent Witch, by the way? That's a good question. I think if I don't just one book where the MC is evil, just one where they aren't nice after becoming the Dark Lord. I mean, Executioner in a Way of Life, but that one's controversial. Where's my lovers to enemies trope? Truth. It's always enemies to lovers. It's not even enemies to lovers most of the time. It's like always rivals to lovers. Freaking everyone is like so fake. It's like they were slightly mean to each other once and now they're dating. It's like real enemies to lovers means they're trying to kill each other and then they become lovers. Yeah. Me and my VTuber model that I keep puppeting around. Yes. Anyways, I think it's been an hour and 15 minutes. I think that's a good time to end stream before it like crashes again. So I'm gonna do that. Stream, oh hiccup. No! No, did it really? Did it really? No. No. Anyways, I'm gonna end stream. I like begrudging friends. Yes. That's a good trope too. Anyways, I'm gonna end stream. Thank you guys for coming in. We will be I don't know. I think I might stream Zenless tomorrow. I might stream Zenless tomorrow just because it's like, because I just remembered I can stream Sundays. I'm a happily married couple to become mortal enemies, hellbent on assassinating each other. True. Brief hiccup, no worry. Yay. Bye bye, Renato. That's me. That's me. Yeah, tomorrow I'm gonna try to stream Zenless. We're gonna see what happens. No, don't kill stream. It's too late. It's too late. I'm hovering over the ending stream button.